Sandro, ole, ole, ole. Sandro, ole, ole, ole. Well, it's probably the noisiest start to a video I've done, but I'm just practicing for what could be in St James's Park in the future. Yes, that's right, Newcastle fans. What I'm going to be talking about on this video is the flag march that we saw before the Man City game last week. And I've actually been contacted from one of my videos on another platform from the organiser who just wanted to say his piece. It's all coming up in this video, Newcastle fans, so if you're curious, make sure you stick around. Welcome back to Black and White Banter. Right, I'll stop now. I'll stop. Well, as I said, welcome back to Black and White Banter, you lovely, 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 lovely Newcastle fans. I hope we've all got that Man City defeat out of our system. It's done, and here we are, the winter break. And I tell you what, it feels fitting that the winter break is as cold as what this one is. Jesus Christ. I wouldn't normally have a hoodie underneath the quarters. I'm not really that kind of guy. But fuck me. I've got the heating on and I'm sat here absolutely freezing. What you might notice, I've had a couple of comments saying you need to drop the mic. I've got the microphone attached. I don't like this because I feel like I end up talking down. So the recommendations I've had on not touching my microphone, if this video goes tits up after recording it, I'm coming after you. I'm not going to be very happy. But, Newcastle fans, do me a favour. Drop me a little likey, Lou. And what that subscribe. If you give us one of them, it goes a very long way. It means this video maybe goes in front of a couple more people. And wouldn't that be nice during this long winter break where maybe a couple more people tune in to listen to what shite I've got to say because there's no football. But my God, we needed a break with no football, didn't we? So, on this video, I'm not going to be talking transfers. No. If you're new around here and you expected me to be talking about Trippier going to Bayern Munich or Joe Linton playing for Newcastle for the last ever time, you're on the wrong page, and I'm going to summarise both of those bits of news very, very quickly. Yes, Bayern Munich might be interested in Kieran Trippier, and if a really big offer was put on the table, how could we turn it down for a 33-year-old with financial fair play involved? We will not be actively getting rid of one of our best players, and as for Joe Linton, he's just a bloke with 18 months left on his contract who started negotiations because he's 20 grand less than Matt Target currently. Simple as, he hasn't played his last game. He's just trying to get a bit more money, and I'm sure we will come to an agreement because that man deserves to be on more. Done. No panic, no social media meltdown. Just stop listening to journalists and take a chill pill. Right, that was done. That's why I don't do a video because that took less than a minute to summarise. So what I'm going to be talking about in this video today, Newcastle fans, is the very interesting matter that we saw last Saturday. Now, for anyone who maybe doesn't go to games, anyone who's watching this video overseas, what I'm talking about is an organised march. There is a group on social media called Black and White Army on Twitter who, for a while now, have tried to organise a get-together of Newcastle fans, and then they ended up teaming up with War Flags, who we all know, the ones who make us cream our pants in the build-up to kick-off at home games, to organise a march through the city with a drum, with smoke bombs, with War Flags providing the decoration, and a group of people singing and chanting. The whole aim of this was to try and improve the atmosphere and try and move that atmosphere into St James's Park. So I'm going to share some footage on the screen now. Now, it's fair to say, after watching that, if that is your first time watching it, or you probably footage you've already seen, it has not been met with the greatest of feedback from Newcastle fans. And, you know, what can you say? Not much noise, lots of people on phones, smoke bombs, lots of people not a big fan of a drum, and I'll talk about that later in this video. But it got lots of general shares of cringe, embarrassing, what has happened to this fan base, and the organisers of this group have taken a battering. Now, one thing I will say before I go any further, there is nothing more annoying, in my opinion, than the type of criticism for something like this that's not constructive at all, it's just cringe. As someone myself who's made videos, as far as video myself on the toilet many times, for content, for a laugh, for my pages that I post less serious stuff on other socials, and my YouTube stuff, I've had cringe a lot in my life. I've been in social media in lots of different roles away from football. I generally find the people who just say cringe about everything are the ones who don't have anything going on in their life, but they take issue with someone having the balls to put a camera in front of the face or do something a little bit more out there and not really care about people's opinions. If you're going to say, yes, sharing it and talk between your friends and saying that, I found that a bit embarrassing, that's fine. But to publicly shame someone on social media with no feedback is frustrating. And another reason I find it frustrating is because I've watched the interviews from these guys. And the organiser of this, who one of them has reached out to me, which again, I'll touch on in a second. They just seem like genuinely good blokes, passionate Newcastle fans, just want to see an improvement in the atmosphere, which takes me on to my first point of this video. I can understand why this group has come together. For whatever reason, atmospheres inside St James's Park just aren't right. They're not. This season, last season was an absolute dream. I've got so many amazing memories last season. Nottingham Forest away, Isaac's last minute penalty. Man United at home, Arsenal at home the year before when we had the amazing flag display, Chelsea last season when we won 1-0 when Willock scored. There's just a lot, whereas you come to this season and you can name good atmospheres on one hand and every fan will say PSG, PSG, PSG. Dortmund was really flat and that got a lot of criticism in the Champions League, which should have been good in our second group game. Milan, when we needed to win, wasn't very good. These are really big European nights. Home games have been a little bit flat. I remember Chelsea was good when we won 4-1. Man United when we won 1-0 was good. But generally speaking, home games have been a bit flat. And away atmospheres, I don't even know. Now, there's lots of reasons for that. Let's face the facts. We do have a new fan base. And that's not me getting into new fans. We've talked about that in other videos. Some people take issue with them. It's part of a club growing, and that's how we grow in stature and on the pitch and off the pitch. It's going to happen with more success. The balloting system allowing the new fans to basically have the same opportunity as a home ticket as someone who's been going on as a member for years. That's going to affect atmosphere. Don't care what anyone says. Some people think it's fair. I don't think it is. It's going to affect atmosphere for a brand new fan is sat in the Leazes end. And he's never been sat there before and he doesn't know what these songs are that are being chanted. I think corporate tickets for away matches is another huge factor. The numbers I don't agree with at all, like Luton when we only got 1,100, 500 of those away tickets went to corporate. It's ridiculous. I know we have a very rich and fancy owners who have lots of corporate friends in lots of different places. Nuts and crannies, but we shouldn't be dishing out that many. Away tickets are still really hard to come by for a lot of fans. So there's lots of factors. But getting back to my earlier point, the blokes who ran this, they're trying to create something and they need a little bit more than embarrassing and cringe. And that's social media summed up how toxic it can be. But I did a TikTok video. And on my TikTok video, I raised a couple of questions because... yes, that first time round on the footage we all saw didn't look great. But I had more questions than what that gave me answers on what this could look to achieve. Now, my first one was time of day. So the footage that was shared for 5:30 Newcastle Man City kick-off, it was still daylight when it was wrapped up and finished. So fans are meeting up 2 hours before kick-off, about 3 o'clock, going on a march, meeting near the metro station, having a bit more sing-song, guy whacking a drum, and then it's, right, thanks for coming, goodbye, and then people go back off to the pub, people go back into town for a Greggs, people go to Primark, they float around before the match, the turnstiles even open. How that early does that move into the stadium? And so you've got no opportunity for fans as it gets really busy around the stadium to walk past the noise and be like, "Oh, what's this? I'll join in these chants." That doesn't happen. It's see you later, thanks for coming. We'll maybe see you in the next home game, all going well. So that confused me. Second one, if the aim of this is to move the atmosphere into St James's, how does that happen when this group of people do not all sit together? So I sit in the Strawberry Corner, which is where most of St James's Park atmosphere comes from, and that's great. But if these want to start a group where they sing for the full 90 minutes with a drum, and I know St James's Park doesn't allow drums in right now, but hypothetically, how does that happen? So right now, nothing is going to move in the stadium. It's a bit of noise in and around St James's, which generally speaking in England, no fans sing before matches outside grounds. Away fans on the way in, yeah. In pubs, yeah. But home matches, I've been every Premier League stadium you can name, I would like to say I've been to now. You don't get groups of fans singing and chanting. So if that's what the aim is, to improve outside the ground, that kind of makes sense, because that's naturally what will happen if they get more and more people to attend. But the focus here for me, and the thing that needs improving, and that's what these guys keep preaching, is the atmosphere needs to improve inside. Inside. Not outside, not in Leazes Park, not on a little cute little walk with some flags. Inside the stadium to help the players, help us, and everybody enjoys that roaring St James's Park that we know on its day can be one of the most ferocious and one of the best. So I did a TikTok video. That's right, I'm on TikTok, you know, where all the cool content creators are. Yeah. I like to talk tick. I like to get down with the young'uns, learn all the lingo. For you, hashtag FYP. Someone might call me a bit of a saddo, that's probably why I need to get misses. But I did a TikTok video talking about this, and it picked up a lot of traction. It's currently got 14,000 views. And I had two of the people who've organised this group inbox me, long paragraph messages, not criticising my video, because I was very fair. I talked about how I don't like some of the negative feedback, but telling me their side. Now, one of the gentlemen, a Mr. Greenwood, we did get in a bit of a conversation. I found it quite interesting. He said he'd love to meet up and ask me and answer any questions I've got. I'm not going to go out of my way to do it, because no disrespect to him, I don't care that much. But I would love to. He said he goes home and away. I'd love to grab a pint with him and talk to him a little bit more. And he admitted mistakes he'd made. He admitted that the footage that's been shared on social media has not done their group any good. He admitted that it was a little bit flat in areas. He said that they regretted going on a walk. That was maybe something they shouldn't have done. They should have just met in one location to start with. But he did tell me that the group has already now got 2,000 followers from basically zero on Twitter, which is, you know, that's commendable. And my questions were all about how to move it inside. Now, he told me they have a 3-year plan to move some of the organisers all to sit together in St James's Park. And he talked about the next location for this could be in a pub. He used Celtic as a great example of some of the atmosphere they generate, basically saying that they are the best in the UK. And he seems to be very, very keen on this idea of, in a couple of years' time, having a close enough connection with the club where they could be moved inside to create noise. Now, after hearing that side of things, and he's what did come across as passion, that he just wants to make a change to atmosphere because it's gone so flat, and we both agreed on that. I'm a little bit torn on this. Now, they're trying to stay away from the term ultra, because, you know, Europe has its ultras. We all know that. I've been to Paris, I've been to Germany, I've been to random matches that haven't involved Newcastle over the years. And it's a very unique way of doing things. They pride themselves, a lot of the hooligans, admittedly, they march through the streets. They, you know, it's the walking with the banner. It's culture. They normally all have tattoos. And they do, in some stadiums, they turn around and they chant for the full game. And they'll sometimes have one guy on a drum who's facing the fans rather than the game to keep them singing for the full 90 minutes. And it's mental. They jump. It's rehearsed. It's synchronised. That, in my opinion, will never come into the English game. It won't. We are a culture that prides ourselves on being in the pub, on away days and cans on bus journeys, on, you know, it's a very traditional vibe in the UK, and I think to have a fan group as an ultra group who march streets with banners, almost creating an intimidating atmosphere, and then move that into the stadium where people jump up and down for the full 90, that's never going to happen. And I know a couple of teams are trying it. Arsenal now have an ultras group. I don't think it's ever going to take off. Now, what he seems to be getting at that he wants to happen is a singing corner. And I'm all for that. And I genuinely believe, because it worked before Mike Ashley, if we had a designated area called the singing corner, and I would put it next to the away fans, where season ticket holders can move there or relocate if you're not about that, that's where everyone there has an expectation to sing for the full 90 minutes. And I'm currently there now, you could argue, because I'm in the safe stand in the Strawberry. And after hearing what he had to say and how he wants to move in, I think some of his aims might be a little bit unrealistic. I still don't understand what marching and being outside the stadium on a match day can achieve. He's going to continue, this group is going to continue getting a lot of hate. Of course they are. But I say fair play to anyone who is trying to make a change. Now, for me, the drum is a massive no-no. He said to me on a message that splits opinion. I do not like drums in a football ground. I would rather literally put a gun to my head than have a banging noise of a drum. I think that the two would pretty much feel exactly the same. So I'm not about that life. For me, with this, I'm interested to see where it goes. I say good luck to them. I think they need to get rid of this marching through the streets thing as quickly as. That didn't work. You also need to find a way of tapping in to the older generation of fan. And that's no disrespect to younger Newcastle fans. They're great. But what I saw on the footage was lots and lots and lots of fans on mobile phones, videoing it, the younger ones, more being there to say that they were there than trying to make a change and affect what is going on, is the best way I could word that. And if you tap into the older fans, which I think will be the hardest nut to crack, unless they can prove that this can be moved into the stadium, and they need help from Amanda and co with that, it's a very tough nut to crack. They keep repeatedly saying they do not want to be known as an ultra group, and I respect that because that's the last thing that we want, and it does get classed as that, and it will continue to get being called cringe. If they can find a way to tap into moving inside the stadium, which the logistics with moving people out of their season ticket seats, etc., is very, very complicated, then fair play. Fair play. But Newcastle fans, I want to get your thoughts on a group trying to come together like this. And please, keep an open mind with the footage that you saw, because I've, on first hand now, had messages from the organisers who acknowledge that that footage looked shite, acknowledge that there's teething problems, acknowledge that this could eventually grow into something, and that was literally day one. So I'm going to bypass that. I know I've shared a little bit on this video, but where do you think this could go? Is this realistic? They don't want to be known as an ultras group. They just want to improve the atmosphere inside St James's. It needs to be done closer to the kick-off, outside the ground, in my opinion. You need to tap into the older fan base, the more tried and tested. We need to move it into away games, if that's at all possible. But this is all very, very long term. Some fans are totally against the idea, and they just think that this is everything that's wrong with lots of changes that have happened with the football club lately. But these guys who are organising it do seem like genuine long-term fans. Let me know your thoughts below, Newcastle fans. Let me know let me know what you think about my drum skills. Probably needs a little bit of work. I don't think they're going to be asking me to join them anytime soon. And just, yeah, give me a feel. Why do you think the atmosphere has been so bad? Why do you think this group's had to start? And what do you think, if this isn't the answer, needs to change for the atmosphere to improve? And don't you dare say we need to start winning football matches, because we've been making noise in away ends and home ends well before Steve Bruce was even at the helm. So that's not the reason. Let us know your thoughts. It's an interesting one, way interesting than random transfer gossip that might get me a few more clicks without a doubt. And I will see you on a couple more videos between now and the recommencing of Eddie Howe's Mags being back on the pitch. Enjoy your weekend. Enjoy your time away from the football, where hopefully a couple of players will be recovering. And I'll see you on the next one. Oh, lads!